Hey guys, Opie Man here with another Boom Beach video for you. This time what I'm going to be doing is going over a tutorial on using the Smokey Warrior technique. Now this technique is probably the most widely used technique in Boom Beach. I have recently acquired this technique, trained at it for a couple weeks now. I think I've got it down pat, and I'm going to break this down for you by showing you first a relatively easy NPC base, just to show you the flare deployment, the smoke deployment, deploying the warriors the right way, and try to teach you guys the most efficient way to reach the top of the HQ with the least amount of troops being lost. So let's dive into this. First, I'm going to show you an NPC base relatively easy. Then I'm going to show you an actual player base of most likely a level 50 plus. And then we'll go into a replay I did the other day of Dr. Terror Stage 7. So let's go ahead and dive into this, and I will show you some tips and tricks. Okay, now this is the first base that I want to show you guys. It's actually a level 39 resource base that I just took back, and it's a very good layout for a base for training you guys on this technique. Now, one thing you'll notice is that there's no mines, so we don't have to worry about that. Typically, mines and boom mines and the placement around those, you really have to watch out for with warriors, because you can't shock those. Those are the only defenses that you cannot shock. So they severely damage the warriors. Now, if you have pretty high level warriors like these guys, I think I'm level 19. If there were mines on this base, I probably wouldn't have to really worry about them. But what you do have to worry about always, no matter what level, is the splash damage and automatic, I call it, damage, like the machine guns and the flamethrowers, because as they spray your warriors, they'll severely decrease the health in them. Things like the mortars have a very slow fire rate, so you don't really have to worry about that, because the warriors, as they attack, they refill their health automatically as they're attacking, which is one of the great highlights of warriors to begin with. So by the time that the mortar refills its next launch of attack, that health has already rebuilt from attacking with the warriors. So moving on, what I'm going to show you is the step-by-step flare and smoke placement, and then how you make your way up successfully without a single defense building seeing you. And that's the trick here. You don't want them to see you. You want to get to the HQ from point A to point B without anybody seeing you and damaging your warriors in any way. So when you get to the HQ, your warriors will be as full of health as possible. All right. So if you see here, I placed my two smokes right next to each other. Now what that's going to do is when I deploy the warriors, they're going to start funneling into that smoke. So when I drop my flags to deploy the warriors, I'm going to deploy that right in the middle, right? So what happens here is that the warriors start funneling from the left and right to the flags, right? Now what I'm going to do from here is once they all get into the smoke, I have to watch the front guy to make sure that he doesn't step out of the smoke before the last warrior is out. This way he doesn't get attacked. So then what I'm going to do next is flare onto the very first defense building and then throw smoke onto that. So again, we're continuing with that triangle funnel to keep all the warriors in the smokes. All of the smoke attacks have a triangular formation, because when you drop the flags in the middle, they start to head towards the middle, and then you flare up to the very first defense building, and then get them all linked on to that very first defense building. And then you wait until until every single one of them has stopped moving onto that first defense. Because if you flare to the next one, then they become out of sync, right? So I got them all together. Not one defense building saw them at all. Okay, so now moving on, what we want to do from here is throw to the HQ and then place the next smoke in front of them right away before they get attacked. And then I like to deploy my smokes as they move. I don't deploy the smokes first up the line and then flare them up, because I like to see what direction they're going to head, because sometimes they can be unpredictable. Sometimes they can move out of the preset smoke that you have for them. So as they move up, I start to deploy the smokes, and then finally the last smoke onto the HQ. Another benefit of deploying the smokes as they move up is because you have more time on that last smoke at the HQ to take a look at some of the defenses, right? So now, as the clock winds down, I could take a look at some of the buildings that I need to worry about. So I need to worry about the flamethrowers here. That's the most important because they're going to take out a lot of the troops. I do not need to worry about the sniper towers. I don't need to worry about the mortars because of the slow rate of splash damage. The boom cannon may take out one by the time this base goes down, but whatever. And this guy doesn't even reach the HQ, so I don't have to worry about that. So what I'm going to need to do is send a shock in the quadrant here around these guys, so I can shock them, and then maybe one over here to shock the flamethrower along with the other buildings. All right, so let's go ahead and play this and see how it pans out. As soon as the smoke clears, you'll see some of the defenses face the warriors, but once I send the shocks out, it's pretty much already over. Once the shocks wear off, if the HQ is still up by then, you know, we could plow through it. All right, so that was the first attack. It was pretty good for going over some key tips in there. Now let's go over a player base. Let's check one out. I think I labeled one warrior, so I can, here's one. All right, so let's take a look at Black Hawk. Now, right off the bat, I noticed with Black Hawk that there is some pretty good mine placement going up the field here. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to clear this path a little bit as best as possible. We're going to take out the boom mine there. We're going to take out the boom mine there. Maybe we could just run over those mines. Maybe I'll throw a barrage down there anyway, just to see. And we want to watch out for the shock launchers. So when I get to the HQ, I'm going to make sure that I send a shock around those defenses because they can really do some damage. So let's go ahead and attack this, see if we can knock it out. So I'm going to send a barrage first up the middle to see if we can clear out some of these mines and the boom mine. So let's send this off. One mine, two mine. All right, a couple mines. I'm going to send another mine for the boom mine here, artillery shot. So let's go ahead and deploy. I don't even think we need. Yeah, we'll deploy the smoke. I'll deploy one smoke here because there aren't too many defenses in the front. So I'll let them funnel in through here, flare up to the first defense, and throw a shock. So other than the mines, that was a pretty successful launch. A little bit of health down, but none of the defenses really saw me. Now I'm going to flare up to the HQ. I'm going to throw down a smoke here, taking a look at their path, and throw one over the HQ. I think I lost a couple there, but I'm going to throw a health down to see if we can regain some of that health. And then shock the left and right quadrants over here, and one on the top. And then hopefully we can take this HQ down, no problem. Health going down pretty fast, and pulled off the win. So I think we lost a couple there, but we still got it because mainly I shocked the shock launchers. If the shock launchers grab hold of those warriors, you're pretty much screwed because all the other defenses are going to be aiming at them while they're frozen and not being able to do anything. All right, so we lost a couple there, but that's okay. We'll refill those. For 31 warriors, a little bit over 100,000 to refill. Not really too bad. All right. Now, the last one that I want to show you, and I'm being conscious of time here, is the Dr. T Stage 7. All right. Now, using this techniques that we learned, what we see here is right off the bat, what I see are these two boom mines. I want to make sure I get rid of those boom mines. Now, there are close enough defenses here that I can latch onto. I can latch onto this one. I can latch onto a couple of these front line sniper towers here. So what that does is that means that I can place my smokes maybe here and here and then latch on here. So what that does is, again, it funnels the troops in, and then this becomes a clear zone that nobody could see me, and it allows me to latch on to the very front defense. So let's see what I did here. So I put the two smokes down in the front, funnel the troops in, flare to the very first defense building, and boom, very successful latch onto the first building. All right, now looking my way up, I'm gonna flare to that boom cannon there, send a couple smokes up, and then send an artillery shot to those boom mines right there. Flare up to the HQ, smoke. Try to use the least amount of smokes as possible, but still keep them in line. All right, then I'm gonna take a look at some of the defenses that I want to smoke, and what I think I'm gonna do is definitely smoke this shock launcher. That's a must. You also want to shock maybe some rocket launchers if you have enough GBE. Over here in this area, single shot defenses. Don't really have to worry about them too much. All right, so the main ones that I want to worry about are these flamethrowers here aren't even in range, so I don't have to worry about those. All right, so I want to make sure that I get the shock launchers in there. So let's go see how this played out. Shock the shock launchers. And I had some more GBE, so I shocked the top ones too, and I made sure I got the rocket launcher in there. So you can see the health start to go down. And I threw down some critters there, just as a last line defense because the shocks were wearing off. And boom. Dr. T, stage 7, done. Okay, so I'm going to put an end to this video here. I hope you guys learned something. I tried to give you as many tips and tricks as I could with the correct placement and deployment of the troops and flares. Let me know if you have any questions, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. I hope you guys like my videos. I'm gonna have a whole entire series coming out soon of some base layouts from 0 to 20, and actually it would be from 1 to 20, and then some more videos to come on some gameplay tips, tricks, tutorials. Don't forget to subscribe, and more videos to come. Opie Man out.